Thursday, February 12th, Eve of Friday 13th. Hope you all are shining your pennies and, doing whatever things to have the best Friday the 13th possible. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Really appreciate your time. We do have a pretty hefty agenda tonight, so hope you have your blankets, your beverages, your comfy seats, and your AirPods and your dogs quieted down for quite an informational evening. Um, we've already crushed the first couple parts of the meeting. We've done our land and equity acknowledgments. Here shortly, we're going to get into our business and committee reports, including the INC registration and renewal. We're going to run through our calendar of events and hopefully hear from Vicki Collins from Bucket List about our upcoming community film festival and some updates there. You'll hear from myself about some little updates on the Leadership Summit in September, and hopefully from Judy on any updates for the Neighborhood Awards event in November. And then to sort of accommodate for this Barnum Yard meeting, we're going to bump up our Around the City before some of the heftier updates of the evening. So we'll have a chance for everyone to virtually raise their paws and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods. Not to quote Al Roker, but I did it anyway. Okay, and then we're going to roll through to a significant update on the RNO Ordinance changes. Some juicy stuff there. I'm going to change my slide. As I said, committee updates. We're going to hear from now 3 committee persons. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you. And some additional business, some exciting business, including some updates on the DU INC Denver Civic COLab introductions. Equally, if not more exciting, the INC DU Weaver Awards community host announcement with some additional information. It just keeps going, guys. It just keeps going. Then we're going to talk about INC elections, which are happening in approximately a month from Saturday. And then some more INC meetings that we'll share towards the end as well. And then we'll hopefully wrap up around 8:30, God willing.
Terrific.
Great. And then just to roll through our calendar, just for everybody's calendars and mental health, we're just going to sort of remove all of the months prior from our calendar. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of these are also all in our INC Community Connection reminder emails that go out. Notably, as I said, next month, March 14th at the Mulkery, starting at 8:45, are INC's annual elections.
The Mulkery.
The Mulkery. Moving forward, again, some solid committee meeting scheduling here. Of course, our community connections. Looks like we've booked May 21 for the Film Fest, which is great. As I said, all of these dates are contained in the community connection emails that we send out. So keep putting these on your calendars. Sorry, guys, you just get me for the next probably 5, 10, 15 minutes. So it is my pleasure and duty to remind all of you, if you have not received the reminders already, that it is time to renew your membership with INC. As you may know, INC has gone paperless, so we certainly encourage folks to go online, submit payment there. You do have an option to do it on an annual basis. You're also more than welcome to just submit it online on a one-time basis. Very easy to do so. Takes maybe 1 to 2 minutes. March 31st is the renewal deadline. Not a hard deadline, but like to keep the kids corralled. And one thing I have found helpful is sharing this information with your RNO friends who may not know about INC or have not been members of INC for a while. I have been quasi-successful in recruiting a couple of RNOs to rejoin INC after a period of time. So if you're so inclined to do a plug for INC and encourage membership, we would be most grateful. And this is certainly the place to also update your information with your RNO, be it your president, vice president, contact information, address, email address, phone number, etc.
And I might add naming your delegates.
Yes.
Especially if they're different from your president and other organizational persons. Make sure you've got your delegates named.
And of course, any issues with any of the stuff online in this portal or any other questions about membership, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Just making sure we're not missing something out there.
Great.
Terrific.
All right. I think I had the pleasure of admitting Vicky to the meeting. Vicky, if you're so inclined to maybe take a few minutes to maybe talk about what you and Keith are scheming on for May's Community Film Festival. The floor is yours. Maybe.
Unmute.
Sorry,
There you go.
apologies. I'm one of those people with a barking dog. I'm Vicki Collins. I'm the publisher of Bucket List Community Cafe. We're online community news for the Denver area, for those of you who are maybe not familiar. And I'm really pleased to be collaborating again with Denver Inc. on the Neighborhood Film Festival, the Denver Community Film Festival. I think the venue is still being locked down. And the most likely day, I believe, is the 21st of May. And this year, the film is called Truth Be Told. And it's about the importance of the First Amendment and a free and independent press and how journalists connect with their communities. And this is all part of the Free Press, Free Country initiative and an organization, a journalism support organization called Colorado News Collaborative, which works with newsrooms like ours and about 180 other newsrooms around the state, is bringing this film to Colorado. And it aired first on 9 News in early November. Kyle Clark did a panel. And it's a film by Brian Malone, and it's trying to kind of be a fly on the wall and really sort of show you how the sausage is made and how newsrooms work to build trust in the community and work with you so that in a period of fake news and alternative facts and stuff, how you know that you can trust the work that journalists do for the community. And it visits 9 News and it visits Colorado Public Radio and then also KSUT, Tribal Radio, and the Four Corners, and also some other newsrooms, the Uray County Plain Dealer. So it really takes a look at, how community and journalism work together. And that is the film. And as far as the program following it, that's still something that's being worked out. But what I understand works really well is not like a panel discussion per se, but really getting the audience interacting and talking to each other and sharing your views and your observations, but making it more of a conversation among the audience. But all those things are still being worked out. And yeah, and that's kind of what's cooking at the moment. If I may do a shameless self-promotion, Bucket List Community Cafe, which I think quite a few of you are familiar with and maybe follow. We just launched our 2026 survey this week, and we would really, really appreciate your feedback on the job that we're doing, that you think community news is doing, how we can improve, what you like, what you don't. It really informs our ability to serve the community with local news. And so we'd be very grateful if you guys, since you are all engaged in your community, might be open to filling it out. And you can find it on our website at bucketlistcommunitycafe.com. Are there any questions?
And you've got a great shout out from David in about what great reporting you do in the
Thank
chat.
you. Thank you. we get a lot of our ideas from you guys. You know, you're kind of in the thick of the neighborhoods, and we get a lot of ideas from these meetings and from our opportunities when we see you face to face. So thank you for sharing your news with us. And again, you can always, if you have story ideas, reach out to us. Reach out to me. If you don't know how to get a hold of me, Keith does, and I can put my email in the chat.
Terrific. Thanks, Susan. So the name of the film is Truth Be Told,
Yep.
right? Okay, great.
Coming to a local Denver theater near you in mid to late May.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's several options for a venue, but it hasn't been locked down just
Yeah,
yet.
I'd say it's probably close to the 20th or 21st, right in there.
Great. Thanks, Vicky.
You're welcome.
All right. Not near as exciting as a movie, but if you love learning and information and my smiling face, then you're gonna love it. The third annual Neighborhood Leadership Summit is booked for September 16th and 17th. We've last year we broke this up into two parts. So Wednesday night we have an RNO leadership dinner. That was something I sort of really encouraged Keith to think about was like bringing RNO leaders together, talking with each other, talk about what's going well, what's not going well, how we're doing as leaders, what we can be doing better, and all of those types of things. So I think we had a really great dinner last year and looking forward to doing that again. Hopefully at Carla Madison again. So for those who attended last year, it was at Carla Madison, had a great rooftop sit down dinner. So we're looking to book that space again. And then heavy the next day, all day virtual workshop on Thursday, September 17th. You're probably going, what topics are they going to talk about in September? Well, we don't know yet. If anyone has ideas on how to help us identify session topics for the virtual workshop, be it how to gather the information either in a survey, chat suggestions, email suggestions, if you want to put them in the chat, please do so. If you want to send us an email with ideas, please do so. We might work on a survey anyway. But some ideas that have been percolating, including sort of renter engagement, how to make renters feel a bit more included in our neighborhoods because we all live here and we're all neighbors. Potentially considering a 501c3 kind of super basic nonprofit organization presentation by someone at the Colorado Secretary of State's office. I remember there being some chat in last year's workshops about how some RNOs are formed either by a nonprofit LLC. And I think probably a good number of them are 501c3s. So I think a good sort of basic nonprofit presentation could be really helpful. Fundraising could be, a very viable topic. So any ideas you have on topics for workshops, hit me, all ears. Speaking of hit me, help me bring this event to life. Send Keith an email at the email on the slide here. If you're interested in volunteering, he will then hook you up with me, who, as a Virgo, I'm already organized for September. I've got a beautiful document all prepared with volunteer opportunities outlined and the time expectations and all the materials that we need. So if you're really looking to kind of dig your heels into this Neighborhood Leadership Summit, please reach out. I'm not too horrible to work with. I don't know if anyone's gonna say anything to the the opposite of that effect, but would love some help with this if anyone's interested. So that's where we're at with the Leadership Summit.
Hey, Kelsey, Jay
Yes.
Lorimer was asking about in-person trainings as well. The Leadership Summit Day is really going to be an online thing. Is that right?
So we're calling it a summit across the 2 days. So the in-person we have sort of stuck with the leadership dinner. Because one thing that we thought about with, virtual is that the beauty of the types of sessions that we did last year is like if you were really interested in the last session of the day, you didn't necessarily have to be on your computer for the entire day. You could just hop on it 2:30, listen to one, and it was all recorded. But I'm more than happy to chat with Keith about how we could maybe swing a hybrid option. I know people love getting together I love the same. But we found that offering people the flexibility of having this fully online seemed to resonate with a lot of folks. So we'll noodle on how we can make hybrid possible for sure.
Yeah. So this is sort of summing up that and other places for uh, ways to get involved. We're always looking for, it might be a specific event that you'd like to connect up with or a specific activity. These outreach and the events team that we've got, as well as hosting monthly community meetings. I will say Montclair, Historic Montclair is hosting the March meeting, which is going to be at the Mulkery. And we have some ability to offer some compensation for RNOs that are giving some space over and helping support having our meetings at their local place. So we look forward and hope many of you turn out for the March meeting at the Mulkery in Montclair Park. Again, the INC Youth Awards is another one of those kinds of activities that we'd love to have people both encourage who should get them, but also support Jane Potts and others in reviewing those and helping that activity. It's a very important part of what INC does.
Judy, we didn't have a slide for you, but is there any update on the neighborhood awards event in November?
Yeah,
Anything there?
just hold the 12th of November in your calendar. We had that great event. I think many of you were there at the Art Hotel that celebrated our 50th anniversary, birthday, whatever you want to call it, as well as all the awards. And it was a really fun event and a great venue. We're doing venue scouting as we speak, and also considering our partnership with DU may create some venue possibilities that haven't been open to us before. So we're actively pursuing that, but the date we have, at least in our calendars and that we're looking at, is November 12th. And stay tuned, it'll be a fun event, and we will need volunteers as always. You know, none of this happens without the energies of a lot of people. So and we really rely on our collective community, our INC community to make it happen. So yeah.
All right, we touched on quite a bit of this. So again, any interest in helping with any of these events in a team, please do reach out. Like Judy said, none of this is possible without the person power of a lot of people on this monthly call who participate in our committees, who come to meetings. So if you're interested in any of these, please do reach out. We could certainly use some hands. Like Judy said, always an option to host a monthly INC community connection. As Judy said, there is a little bit of compensation there for you. You can receive up to $250 for snacks or venue fee coverage, or $300 if you're in a Nest neighborhood. Again, something to think about. One thing I've noticed is that aside from rooms and rec centers, Denver doesn't have like a proper community space, and it's just something that really continues to just make me want to find something. So it's possible that your RNO may or may not have that type of space to be able to host a meeting. But if you do, we would more than welcome that opportunity.
Yeah. It's a great way for us to get out across the neighborhoods. I'll have to say, it's one of the things when I was a delegate and starting to come, this is pre-COVID, when we didn't do anything online. Remember those days, everybody? And by being a delegate, and that's how I discovered what Denver was really all about, was going to the delegate meetings that were spread around all over the city. It was really so much fun. And I really got to know Denver in a way after 30 or 40 years of living here, I hadn't known it as well as I did from going to meetings, INC meetings in the various neighborhoods that hosted our monthly meetings. So it really makes a difference. So there you go. So we are coming up on 7 o'clock, and we're gonna start. Frequently, we end our meetings with a kind of we're trying to reintroduce the around the city, hearing what's going on around the city, and but because of some of the timing of people coming in, we're gonna kind of lead off with an around the city. So raise your digital hand, like this says, and to put your questions for speakers in the chat if you've got questions for us. But so we're just really looking to hear from different neighborhoods about what's going on, updates from things that you've told us about before, and anything that you'd like to kind of raise up. And it's so much fun to hear what's going on. So, anybody gonna, Beth? Okay, I saw your hand up.
My actual hand.
Uh-huh. You
So
raised
I
your,
was late and I was talking to your president, Keith, at
uh-huh.
the Broncos open house here,
Right.
or not here in Lama, which was packed,
Yeah, it looks like
telling
it.
you. And it was interesting. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of questions and concern. I would say generally the feeling though around the neighborhood is positive. We know we're going to have um, to be very vocal about traffic and parking, etc.
Mhm.
But we're getting busy with the CBA process for that after just coming off one for the summit in December. So yeah, Baker's going to be Stadium Central.
Wow, yeah. Uh, big news and big impacts for you. Uh,
Yeah.
I can see people are starting to come in. Questions for Beth or what just what you heard there? Anybody got any questions? Gertie, you'll be up next here.
Were there any concrete things presented? Did they show designs or talk about what's going to be in the space, or are they that far
They've
along
got
yet?
they've got maps where the space is basically mapped out. You got the stadium, you've got the entertainment district to the east. The stadium is on the furthest west part, and where the RTD will run and where eventually the Front Range will run. And none of it's solid except for, of course, what they're doing with the 8th Street Viaduct already via the bond. But there's a lot of questions yet. But I think they have a lot of pretty firm ideas of what they want to do already.
And what is CBA process?
Okay, the CBA is a community benefits agreement,
Oh,
and it's between the community and the team. Like it was with the
The
summit,
owners.
and we had about 7 or 8 RNOs in that one. This one will be a little more limited in, I believe there's only 3 RNOs, and then Sun Valley, Baker, and La Alma, Lincoln Park, and plus like the Santa Fe Art District bid and organization, and some community organizations.
Hmm. Well, and also it won't it impact, I mean, the vacating eventually of Mile High will impact those neighborhoods as well, right? In terms of what
Right,
happens there.
right.
That's
So
another,
that's a separate,
yeah.
because we're dealing with a small area plan, a large development review. There's just so many different acronyms and plans around this, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're hoping to have the CBA finalized by October. This is something that our current city council requires for these big projects, like they did with Ball Arena as well, for them to agree with what the developers are planning. The area got 9 million in promised funds from the Summit CBA over a period of years. So we're looking at like a much bigger amount that we should be able to get from the Broncos.
It's a big one.
What's
Yeah.
going to happen with the Mile High area? Is that going to become housing?
I believe so. It's going to turn back into a neighborhood.
Yeah. We're gonna, and there's a comment in the chat from Bill Hare about Jefferson Park should be involved and all of that. So read that. I want to turn to Gertie Grant. What's going
Hi.
on, Gertie? Hi.
Well, I just wanted to share with you all. I don't know how many of you have been down to the new Denver Public Library down at on Broadway between 13th and 14th. I can only tell you that my experience there today was quite remarkable. I mean, the building, the renovation of the inside is truly inspirational. I mean, I have not been in a public building in a long time that has had the same impact on me. And I suggest that maybe that's a place to have an INC meeting. I realize it's a long shot for people coming from Green Valley Ranch and from Harvey Park, and from Southmore, but it really is an amazing building to be in, and they have free community spaces. And I would think that they could do, I don't know what their hours are at night, but it may have to be a Saturday morning meeting.
Yeah.
But they have free meeting spaces there, and it really is just a stunning architectural achievement, in my opinion. That has nothing to do with my own immediate neighborhood. We are dealing with trying to revise our bylaws at the West Wash Park Neighborhood Association. And other than that, and which gets me down to what do I really think, and I'm on the committee, what do I really think is important about RNOs and RNO not only raising or exposing members of the community to the opportunity to get involved in shaping the future of our neighborhood, but also participating in the city. And I'm finding that, some of the regulations with city agencies are changing very, very fast, and keeping up with them is very hard. Like excise and license.
Okay.
Well, Godspeed to you on the bylaw update effort, Gertie. I'm going to try and do the same for my organization this year, and woo, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Gertie, I just want to say I give a shout out for the library as well. In fact, Keith and I we looked long and hard and tried to get to yes, but we were just a little in advance of their readiness to use. They have a big space for that would have been great for the awards dinner.
Yes, yes, yes. It's
They have a
beautiful.
really great space, and we looked at it before we found the Art Hotel, but it just wasn't the right timing to lock it in for us. So hopefully things will really change. So thanks very much for that, and yeah, like Kelsey said, good luck with that bylaws thing. We updated ours not too long ago. Richard.
Yeah, I just have a quick update or reminder for everyone. I'm just passing on the word from the park, our friends, the park people, that Denver digs trees. It's last call. So they still have trees if you want to, if you have neighbors that want to do an application, and I think they're a little bit down applications from previous years. So just put a word out there. But I think the deadline is the 15th, so it's coming right up.
Okay, thanks for
So
that
that's all.
reminder.
February 15th or March 15th?
February 15th. It's right.
Okay, that's something yeah. Beth.
I have a quick question for Gertie. Are you we just updated our bylaws briefly last year to add a paragraph on liability after somebody was told they were going to be sued over some Colorado housing unit. So do you have something on liability or are you adding?
We somehow, I don't want to get into the weeds of
Okay.
what's been going on in my RNO, but there have been some significant changes in our bylaws 4 years ago. And they have been basically unworkable in terms of getting a quorum at the annual meeting to elect the board, because the current bylaws require 75, a quorum of 75 people. And that is totally unrealistic.
What I
And
wouldn't give to have 75 people at an annual meeting.
no, well, you have to have a huge liquor license, or you have to have something really controversial like Burnham Yards, or the stadium going in the middle of your neighborhood in order to get that kind of participation. And so we're trying to work around that. But no, we've had liability insurance for quite a while, and I'm not quite sure what the provisions are in the current bylaws or the past bylaws that allow it, but we've got it. We've had it.
So
Yeah,
you have actual insurance, not just a paragraph on
Yep.
liability.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
To
we
think
have
about-
insurance.
To think about directors and officers, D&O insurance, right? Is something to consider.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but
Beth,
we
talk to
have
an
it.
insurance agent. I talk to ours on an annual basis when it comes time to renew, and he's pretty helpful when we sort of explain to him sort of what we're doing, what's changing, what hasn't really changed, which more often than not, nothing really has changed. And they'll be able to kind of tell you, like any good insurance person, what you need, whether or not you need D&O, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. We are at 7:06. Are there any other around the city kind of announcements? I might just make one for Montclair. Some of you have heard about our Montclair Park is going through a playground renovation, actually replacement of the playground, and there was a big issue back in September at the leadership dinner that Kelsey did. A legacy American elm tree is scheduled to be removed, and as a RNO, we actually worked to really understand that decision-making process, because it was kind of sprung on us, not kind of, it was actually sprung on us with very little information and very little explanation until we actually requested it, and actually requested to have a second opinion done of the assessments that they had done, which we did. And in fact, the tree is going to come down. It's in good shape, except the fact that with the playground replacement, it would probably damage the roots of the tree and make it a real liability. In the meantime, they've closed off, the Parks Department has closed off the playground until the tree comes down, and the reason the tree hasn't come down is that their cherry picker that's tall enough to reach that tree and to take it down has been in the shop for a long time. So we're kind of at an interesting standstill. I want to give a shout out to Bucket List, and they covered it. They covered our kind of the ongoing debate and working with the Parks Department. But we're really trying to get the city to move on doing what they've been planning on doing for a while now, because the playground's been closed off all since October. So,
Judy, when it comes down, do you think somebody could get us some pictures?
yeah,
Of them
I
coming
hope
down?
so. Yeah. So Susan Fry says tree removal in public spaces has become a problem, and we need to get strong advocacy against this. Yeah, we tried to be strong advocates, but there's also a safety issue that you just have to weigh these things. But we wanted to make sure that the assessments for the removal of this tree, we had an independent arborist, certified arborist, review the materials that were sell slices of the truck. Well, actually, Jane, that has actually come up. The neighborhood, we have a committee that wants to work with the Parks Department about how we can use and honor the tree that's being taken down, either as benches or as a fundraiser kind of thing. And we've got lots of actually very creative ideas here. So stay tuned, but I just thought I'd give you all an update on the Montclair Park Legacy American Elm controversy. So yeah, but it's important to, yeah, Susan, thanks for that. So Susan Bernard.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, I'm from Winston Downs Community Association, and we are just getting ready to finalize our community's comments for our calming study. Amanda's Sawyer's office, District 5, did a multiple calming studies throughout the district, and so we are getting our finalized letter out to her and to DOTI to finally get that on board and get on track. And I know Matt is on the call somewhere, and so he keeps us updated as to when we're going to be on the list to get it done. So we're really happy about that. And we actually, this past Sunday, had a really surprising large turnout for neighborhood cleanup, which we were surprised in the middle of February to get, but it was a nice day. And I think we got like close to 25 people picking up trash along Quebec. And it was great. So if anybody thinks it's winter and you can't do it, we were really successful this weekend.
Great. Terrific. Brad. You're on mute, Brad. If you're, you have your hand up?
Yes. Okay, great. I finally got it turned off. Yeah. Brad Cameron from Neighbors for Greater Capitol Hill. And, briefly, I just wanted to kind of touch on the issue of connecting communities, which is a big thing for us now. But we are going to be having a forum with our state legislators in a few weeks. And we did this last year. And it was kind of surprising because we both our representative and our senator from the area responded. It's like, wow, nobody ever really asked us to come and talk to them very much. And so we're going to be doing that. It's just going to be a relatively short forum where they come and talk about things that are going on in the legislature. And I kind of throw that out as an idea because I do think our state legislators, particularly this time of year, when in the middle of session, are willing to come out and talk to people about what's going on in the legislature and discuss issues and kind of talk about it. So anyway, thought I would throw that out as something that we're going to be doing here for Neighbors of Greater Capitol Hill in a few weeks.
Terrific.
Well done,
Thanks.
Brad.
Yeah. I think we're gonna, and Susan, unless you have anything else, your hand's still up. I just want to make sure. Okay, sweet. Let's turn to, I think we're going to move on with our agenda. We're right kind of on time.
Mostly, yeah.
Aren't we?
Great. All right, friends, settle in. Got a quasi juicy update for all y'all on the RNO Ordinance. Got quite a bit of information on the next couple of slides, but I have notes to back up all of the words I'm going to be spewing from my face, so don't worry. I just wanted to note that unless you were on the Your City, Your Voice newsletter, you probably didn't know that there was a mayor council presentation on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. By Councilman Cashman and Councilmember Gonzalez Gutierrez's team to mayor and city council about where the RNO ordinance update process stands. I took some notes from that meeting and distributed to the INT board. But one of the bigger updates that I noticed that came out of it was that Councilman Cashman officially announced the Director of Community Empowerment, Stephanie Lang. So the Division of Community Empowerment now has a director. Yay! Where things go from here, no idea. But there is now a person in that role with dedicated city funds, that Councilman Cashman has been talking about. So there's now a person in that seat, which is great. They did.
Stephanie's here.
Oh,
Stephanie's on the
Stephanie's
line.
here. No way.
Yeah.
We have a star in our midst.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to say a couple words about how hopefully excited you are to take on this role, the floor is yours.
Sure, I will say a few words. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie
Sorry, I
Lang.
spelled your
I
name
am.
wrong.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Most people do. My husband just spells it. But I am the new director for human rights and community partnerships, and I will be doing some work with the RNOs. And I have a meeting actually this week, me and my director, or my executive director. We will be meeting with Cashman and lots of council members actually in the next coming weeks, just to kind of figure out exactly what that will look like. So I can't say right now what my role will look like as far as it is with the RNOs, but I will be at these meetings and kind of keep everyone updated. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. And once I have a better idea, which hopefully come mid-March, I should have a better idea on what my role will be as far as with the RNOs. So
amazing. Stephanie, I'm sure a lot of people are so happy to see your face. So we, at least on behalf of INC, we're just happy to have someone friendly in this role. And I hope you won't be surprised if INC reaches out to hopefully set up a conversation with you, either with city council teams, or just on our own. But we're excited to finally have a person in this role. So thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I'll continue to be here. So I'll put my information in the chat. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. There may just be a delay until I know exactly what my role is going to look like. So
amazing. Well, we're happy you're here.
Me. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was not expecting Stephanie to be on. That's great. So one of the key slides that they have were key themes that they have identified from some of the initial data that has come from Radian and the city council's team's work for the past few months. First one being awareness and access. Increase visibility of RNOs and make it easier for residents to identify and connect with their local organizations. Communication infrastructure. Accessible communication channels that ensure information flows reliably between the city, RNOs, and residents. Equity and inclusion. Expand support and engagement strategies that reach historically underrepresented voices. Governance and accountability. Structures that set shared expectations while allowing flexibility for neighborhood diversity. Support, capacity, and sustainability. Offer various tools to help volunteer leaders sustain meaningful engagement. So those are a preview of the key themes that they have found. They are still working on drafting the report with Radian, which leads me to my next point is that they are presenting to the Budget and Policy Committee on March 23rd. And their plan, I have an email from the city that says our plan is to release the report publicly 1 week prior. So if you're so inclined to set a reminder on your calendar for March 16th to hopefully have your eyes peeled for that report, please do. Next steps, I actually had a chance to meet and talk with Sina from Council Member Gonzalez Gutierrez's office on Tuesday at my City Councilwoman's open house. And like I said, they're working on the report, but they plan to re-engage with the community and neighborhoods starting in mid-April. So putting feelers out there, they will be coming back to communities in whatever way that looks like, still probably figuring that out. They are returning to communities for feedback on the report and recommendations starting in mid-April. Just some feedback from folks that were in that meeting, notably some city council members. I really don't want to bore you guys with this, but I think it was really the first time that we've heard from more than just the two city council persons spearheading this effort. One being Alvarez, Councilwoman Alvarez, encourage the team to engage RNOs that may be struggling instead of those that are just sort of successful that are thriving, which I thought was a really important point for her to point out. Councilman Watson recognized his history working in RNO and specifically stated that his neighborhood did the work that they expected the city to do. So Councilman Watson very excited about this ordinance update process. And Romero Campbell specifically noted that the importance of discussing the difference between RNOs and HOAs and how to hopefully sort of address that discrepancy and misunderstanding between RNOs and HOAs, specifically in areas where neither of those exist. So I think she's looking forward to finally having something that could maybe help bring more people together. One more slide. One more slide.
And
Okay.
moving to that, Gertie, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to know what Stephanie Lang's background is, if she'd tell us her sort of life story and how she got to where she is, since she's going to be our liaison between us rabble rousers and the city.
I can do that. So actually, most of my background is in law enforcement. I actually just recently ended a 13-year career with the Denver Sheriff's Department. Prior to that, I worked at Arapahoe County. And so I went back to school actually and got my master's degree in organizational leadership. And so my plan has always been to work in the community. I've done a lot of community outreach and community work, mainly in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And I am born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I grew up in Park Hill. And then I've gone to school in Colorado as well. So I got my master's degree from CU Boulder and my bachelor's from CU Denver. So yeah, I really am passionate about working in the community. I was introduced to HRCP through the Sheriff's Department. I was appointed to the African American Commission approximately 3 years ago by Mayor Mike Johnston. And I just really found that there were a lot of issues in several communities that I was passionate about. And so I started to do a lot more work in the community. And that's kind of what led me to this. I was doing a lot of resource fairs and different things for our officers and in the community to try to build a better relationship with law enforcement. And so that is what led me here. And so I'm sure you'll see me a lot more. I'm definitely a person that likes to interact with the community. My plan is to be coming to some of the RNO meetings. So if you'd like to invite me to your meeting, please feel free to reach out. I put my information in your chat. So
Right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
I'm glad
pleasure.
to know you've got Park Hill roots.
Yes.
All
Strong Park Hill contingent on this call oftentimes. So thank you, Stephanie. And one other note I wanted to add from sort of the last slide. Sina did say that you may notice on the Your City, Your Voice website that they have kind of like a timeline of how this is going to move. They're basically planning to have a draft go through council by spring or summer. He did say that the timeline may seem fast, but they're going to take time to make sure this community feedback process is sufficient because they do continue to be committed to this co-governance process. So he's like, the timeline may seem rushed, may seem fast, but he's like, there's still a lot of work left to do. So we're going to get back out into the communities. So with that, our board of directors has decided via a small working group to write a follow-up letter from the meeting that we had with council teams in Radian in January to basically say, hey, INC remains committed to working with you in Radian on this process. We also obviously stress the need for transparency and RNO participation throughout the remainder of this process because whatever report and recommendations there may be, there's probably going to be some finessing and more feedback that's required to really further engage RNOs. And then we're going to ask City Council and Radian, which it sounds like they are, to keep their commitment to returning to the community for feedback. That was something that they told us. That's something I heard Tuesday night. So really just want them to keep their commitment on returning to the neighborhoods after this report and recommendation comes out. Um, as you see, there may be a second letter that we work on about must-haves that INC thinks should be included in the first draft. But that is a problem for future future INC. We're working and focusing on this first letter now. So with that, we do have a small working group working on sort of the RNO Ordinance update effort, including this first letter. This is again a further chance to have your voice heard and involved in what this ordinance update could include. So if you want to help us out or join our conversations, please reach out. I have linked some stuff. We'll share the slides as well on the city's website. Do sign up for the Your City, Your Voice newsletters. I bet that will be the only route that they're communicating with folks. And visit their website for updates. But we will do our best to continue to share any opportunities, timelines, events, meetings, all related to this process because we know how important it is for everyone to be involved in the importance of having more voices heard. So that is my
Thanks, Kelsey. I would just add, if folks want to be involved in this conversation from INC's perspective, please throw your names in the chat with your email addresses, and we'll make sure we reach out to you and build that connection. So we're definitely looking for folks that are
Sorry,
interested.
I hope I didn't miss anything, Keith.
No, no, it's great. Thanks. And sorry, everybody, I'm late, but hi, everyone.
Great. And then just one more little nit that I noticed. They said in that council presentation that they only have 630 people on their newsletter distribution list, despite the likely hundreds, if not thousands of people participating in RNOs throughout the city. So do sign up for that newsletter. Like I said, that's going to be the only way they probably communicate, and we'll do our best to spit that information back out to members. So help us help you we'll spread the word to you. And if you know RNOs who aren't receiving that information, please share it with them. So thank you. Committee reports.
Do you want to, I can do this part if you want, Kelsey.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Rich, are you on yet?
I am, and I'm.
Oh, right.
Let's see. Can I share my screen?
Yes. So yeah, we're gonna do a little bit on committee reports. We've got a little bit of stuff to talk about tonight with regards to committees, and Rich is going to start us off, and we can give you access. So if you want to stop share, Kelsey, so Richard can.
Okay, how's that? So yeah, good to be here, everyone. It's a great meeting so far. Thank you. Kelsey and Judy did a great job. And welcome back, Keith. I just saw Keith an hour ago. I mentioned I'd seen you there. Really honored to be invited to co-chair now a third active committee. So we're the new ones, but I guess there has been some past history. I know talked to Keith and also Perry Burnap. I know Perry was co-chair with Jane Potts a while back. So we're not completely starting from scratch. Just we're planning our first meeting. So I guess the first steps we've taken is actually getting onto the calendar. Thanks, Keith, for doing that. And we have just a little spin on this committee. I'm part of a group called Accelerate Neighborhood Climate Action, and I'm also a delegate. So we've been working in kind of in the same thing sphere, working with neighborhoods on different activities, building community. These are, some of the goals we have, and I think one of the things we have from ANCA, and I'll say a little bit more about ANCA shortly, is that we really work on kind of neighborhood scale climate actions. That said, one of the things that we're taking kind of the gold standard of the committee's work Joel Noble has been doing. So I think we were advised to do similar meetings, couple hour meetings, 5 or 6 times a year. So we're starting that up in March 3rd. So I'll say a little bit about that. Some of the goals certainly to build community action, also to have that education and dissemination on timely topics. We hope to have a lot of collaboration with CASR especially, but also some of the environmental nonprofits. So I think the format would be probably similar to the other meetings with a little bit of a spin. I think one of the things that we really value is kind of grassroots up ideas. And so one of the things wanted to include, in addition to having guests in doing presentations on topics, is doing something not too much different than around the city. But this would be we call it a neighborhood climate water cooler, where we like to just hear what's going on. Do you have a green team in your neighborhood, or doing sustainability type things? And the idea is so we can learn from each other, and it could be just a quick update, but I think we could have kind of a longer presentation of something that would really be valuable to spread out and replicate in different neighborhoods. So let's see, we can forward that. Any trouble wording? Okay, I'm having trouble forwarding, but it worked for me earlier. Let me just I guess say a little bit about ANCA. Need to go back in. Let me stop sharing. I'll share again. Try to get back into this. Okay, just a little bit about ANCA. We've been around, we haven't been around for 50 years, but we've been working for about 10 years, pretty much only in Denver neighborhoods. We've done a little bit in Boulder. We have a sister group out in Redlands, California, doing some of the same work, ANCA Redlands. But here are some of our kind of general goals. I won't go into those in a lot of detail now, but here's our website if you want to see a little bit more of what we're doing. And I think it really fits in a lot. What we've been doing, I think, fits in with a lot of the good ideas that are going on in neighborhoods. And we've worked with a number of the RNOs and green teams on climate action ideas. And I'll take about 30 seconds just to introduce myself. I'm a climatologist is my background, and now I'm retired, so I want to spend a little more time on ink is one of the things I've had a great time I've become a ink junkie. And so maybe 3 years I've been attending pretty much all the ink events, a lot of those, and happy to step up and do some things with sustainability. Been an Inc. delegate just since last year. ANCA has been around. We've been doing neighborhood climate action things in Denver for about 10 years. Before that, I did a lot with RARA campus sustainability, and we have some interesting things there. We do have an part-time executive director, Sunny Walker, who's a trained facilitator, and we'll be helping with our first meeting. But we also have of our core team, I think 5 of our 7 are in Denver residents, and so we have representation in Baker, South City Park, Indian Creek, and Green Valley Ranch. And let me see if I'll do this quick this time.
That's great representation you have from around the city, Richard, and everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Sunny, and yeah, it's really great.
Okay. Last one. Sorry, for some reason I'm not able to advance my slides. And I was able to do it when I practiced, but because I have a Zoom account, but something's different. Last one, and I'll finish in just a minute. First meeting it is kind of a work in progress. And we'll get the word out in terms of the RSVP, like the other committees have. This one, we do have one topic and still kind of figuring out who the speakers will be. I think I've been in touch with parks people, but I know one topic that's of interest is tree canopy. So we'll start with that, but I think one of the things we want to do the first meeting is really get some input and do some brainstorming in terms of what direction the committee can go in. So what are the topics? What are the format of meetings? Right now we have those scheduled for Zoom meetings, 6 to 8 on a Tuesday. We might see if there might be interest to do an in-person meeting some evening in the summer or something like that. And we'll launch in also to do this neighborhood climate water cooler. So one of the things, love to get the word out with anyone from your RNOs that are really into sustainability, climate things, invite them. So we are looking, it would be great to have another co-chair working on this. We have other people in ANCA that are going to help out with this, as well as we probably have some interns that can help with that. But if there's anyone from one of the RNOs interested in co-chairing, love to see that. And maybe contact the Inc. board. You could contact me as well. Keith is a big person for sustainability, so you could probably contact him as well. And I will stop sharing and finish off now. I know we're a little short on time.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I know there's definitely a lot of people in INC that are interested in sustainability issues. And we have some younger folks too that have expressed a lot of interest kind of through the grapevine. So I think it's great that we're getting this committee up and started. And Rich, I think ANCA is the perfect vehicle to kind of get this going. So thanks. We could take 2 real quick questions from 2 people that know a lot about trees. So Beth.
Okay, quick question. Can you tell me who from Baker is on it? And if not, we do have a sustainability committee, and they're looking for projects, and it would really be nice if they could get some leadership out of this.
It's Susan Erickson from Baker, and we did do a climate action forum for Baker during COVID online.
Okay, that was before me, but that's okay. Good.
And got your green team working at that point when Sarah Cole was involved.
Yeah,
And
we have a
Jim
whole new
Abrams.
team now. But thank you.
Yeah, and Susan did mention or highlight what Baker has been doing, so including trees. So
Yeah.
she said you're doing lots
We
of
have a
trees.
goal of planting 150 new trees by the state's 150th birthday.
We heard
Awesome.
that. That's
We're gonna meet
amazing.
it.
That's amazing.
Gertie.
Yeah, I just want to add that Denver Digs Trees got its start through INC. It was because of the connection that I had with other RNO people who were concerned about the damage that the Dutch elm disease was doing to Denver's canopy. And this is way back before the time that many of the people who were involved in INC were born. But I mean, it was amazing because through the connection that the Park People's Denver Digs Trees had with RNOs, that we were able to get 3,000 trees every spring planted in Denver neighborhoods for the 5 years of that bond issue under Federico Pena. And I'm hoping that Richard, you will be able to get somebody from the park people to who is involved in the neighborhood street tree planting stuff that they're doing on your committee because to me it's the connection that individual residents have with planting trees, not just in their own front street area, but also throughout the neighborhood that really builds people's commitment to their neighborhood and to the urban canopy as a whole. And thank you for what you're doing.
Yes.
Thanks, Gertie. And for anybody that doesn't know, Gertie started Denver Digs Trees. So
Yes.
And you just made me think, Gertie, because I know a lot of people call it the hell strip between the sidewalk and the pavement or the street, that maybe we should start a campaign like take the hell out of hell strip to get trees going. So
Well, it's interesting because with the increasing cost of water, people seem to be, much to my great distress, replacing either bare turf or lawn with grapefruit-sized rocks, which indicates to me they are not irrigating those trees, number one, and number two, that they don't plan on irrigating anything that grows out there. There is a program that's being presented at a forestry group that I'm going to on that's coming out of Grand Junction, where the city forester is the former Denver city forester, that they are doing to incentivize people to take care of their trees along the street. And I'll try to get back with you all what I learned from that, or at least refer you to the video of that meeting. But to me, that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we do
Yeah.
have to move along, but I think that's great. And I think that's a really good figuring out how to incentivize maintenance is critical. So Joel Noble, are you on?
I'm here.
Great. Do you need our slide deck or do you have your own?
No, it's my materials in your master
Okay.
slide deck.
I don't know. Kelsey, do you want to share or? I can too, if that's easier. Okay.
Okay, let's leave this, go back if you would.
Joel, can you do a quick introduction of yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Joel Noble. I chair the INC Transportation Committee. I think I'm in my 13th year, going on my 14th year of this. So transportation is very important to me. Welcome, Richard. It's been a while since we've had a sustainability committee, so I look forward to getting to know you. The Transportation Committee meets every other month. So our previous meeting was in January, and our next meeting will be in March. The January recording is posted on our INC YouTube channel, so you can see that there. And we've got already 3 topics lined up. We're going for 4 topics, as always, for our March meeting. If you have folks in your neighborhood who are interested in transportation topics, you do not have to be a member, you do not have to be an delegate of INC to attend any committee meeting. So we're always open. Please write to transportation@denverinc.org, and we'll add anyone to the mailing list that wants to be there. As we talked about at our last delegates meetings, we're working on updating our position statements. You may have heard these referred to as our platforms. We're going back to the original INC terminology for this, position statements. And this is collected position statements that are thematic. Of course, on the Transportation Committee, we're working on the transportation ones. We have a few good folks who volunteered who are interested in this, but we'd love to have a few more. So if you have yourself or someone in your neighborhood who wants to work on proposing what should be the core position statements relating to transportation for INC that will come to the delegates to adopt, then please again write to transportation@denverinc.org. We'd love to have a few more folks. Last month, I talked about at this meeting that we had a motion from the INC Transportation Committee for the delegates to consider. And I'm going to tee this up a little bit just to talk about the context for this. This is not for voting tonight. We are going to follow the bylaws process that gives plenty of time for delegates to go back to their RNOs and consider, how should you vote? I hope you'll vote for this motion because it's a very, straight down the line INC motion that basically neighborhoods should be listened to. But here's the context. In the last 2 years, we've noticed a pattern with this administration that transportation projects, especially that involve changes to the street safety projects, where the city has worked with the neighborhoods, come up with a design, followed a good community input process, are now being changed from what the community worked with the city on to something quite different and then implemented. And there's no community involvement in why was the change done. And it's very concerning. You may have heard recently in the media about Alameda Avenue and the changes that were done there, but it's not just Alameda Avenue. West Colfax, the community there was worked with for many years to come up with a significant design focused on the center median that will calm traffic and reduce crashes and reduce certain types of turning movements that lead to crashes. That was, as these plans often are, the community came up with that plan with the city. It took a while to fund it. And then there was a Zoom meeting, I don't know what, a year and a half ago, where the city said, we've issued notice to proceed to the contractors, and they're going to build something entirely different with a lot less safety features. And the community rightfully freaked out. They're throwing away the community input. Same sort of thing happened on West 29th Avenue. A community-involved design, after it was already approved and supposedly finalized, then the city said, we're changing it. So if we go to the next slide, I'll kind of go through this motion that will be coming back next month. On Monday, the INC board is just going to make sure we're following the right process for announcing this motion and getting the voting done. But this is a motion for the delegation to approve the following position, and then based on this position to create and transmit a letter to the mayor, the executive director of the Department of Transportation Infrastructure, and City Council, and has 4 main points. The first 2 kind of set the stage. We reiterate our 50-year plus commitment to full, authentic, and meaningful neighborhood involvement in topics that affect neighborhoods. This includes the change of street design to protect lives and make our streets safer for everyone. Second bullet, we reiterate and we reaffirm our commitment to eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries. That's part of our existing position statements. We're just restating that here. The meat of it here in bullet 3 INC is concerned with a pattern of late changes to street safety projects long after public input has concluded and designs were supposedly finalized. So that's the main concern we're highlighting here. And then what do we want? Bullet 4, we call on the mayor and DOTI to first rapidly implement street safety changes after community-involved designs are completed. So part of what's happening here is, you work with the community on a design, and then it can take a long time to find funding. That's always been the case. But if you can shorten that time, then there's less opportunity for things to drift from the agreement that was just reached. So, but we understand that sometimes it can take a long time to get funding, and understand sometimes things do have to change. So this final bullet, if post-engagement design changes become necessary, first, I apply a no net loss of safety standard, including completing and releasing a comparative level of service of safety study, publicly disclosing and justifying post-engagement changes that affect safety. So that's a lot of words. What does that mean? First, we worked with the community and came up with a design. Then they're proposing something different. Hold it to the standard of no net loss of safety. That is, what we worked with the community on versus what you're now proposing is not less safe. CDOT, the Colorado Department of Transportation, has something called level of service of safety. And so we put that in quotes. That's a known term in the transportation world. And it's a particular methodology to say, based on expertise and experience, what kinds of safety issues is one design going to have, and compare it to what kind of safety issues is another design going to have. So we're asking them, if they're going to change it after working with the community and come up with a design, compare these two, disclose it, and justify why the changes were going to be made. So again, this is not we're not weighing in on some particular street, what should happen. We want neighborhoods to be listened to. We want safety to be maintained. And then finally, and this is sort of the heart of INC, providing neighborhoods with a meaningful opportunity to review and compare original and revised designs before implementation to ensure safety is the top priority. So I think this walks a really great line. It stays true to the core of INC that neighborhoods should be authentically involved and listened to. It urges implementing what the community worked with the city on, and it acknowledges that when things may have to change, the community still needs to be involved and needs to focus on keeping safety at the heart. So I'm hoping that in the next month, you all will, in consultation with the neighborhoods that you represent, support this motion so we can send this off and give a very uniquely INC take on the controversies that we're seeing in the past 2 years and the real change of practice we're seeing with this administration. Happy to take some questions.
Yeah, let's I'll just field a couple here for you, Joel. Robert?
Thanks. I've got a couple questions on your announcement in March. Is that will be like the final of the motion that will be going out to delegates?
It will be the voting process. So today we're saying, here is the motion, here's the text of the motion, and this is being recorded and will be posted, etc. And then I imagine a short order, not waiting until March. We're going to clarify this on Monday at the executive committee meeting. We'll be sending out to all the INC delegates. There is this motion that has been put forward. There will be voting in March, and announcing the process for voting.
Okay, so I will get a dedicated email on.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, number 2, on your no net loss of safety, who is doing the determination of that? Is that left to internal departments within DOTI, or do they need to hire some sort of impartial outside consultant to determine that?
we're not specifying, but the mention of the level of service of safety study, that's a specific methodology that we are asking to be used because CDOT uses it. It's a known thing. And being transparent. One of the credibility issues that's happening right now on the Alameda one, which is the most recent of these, is a very different design that intuitively is less safe, both for crossing and turning, but also for people on the very narrow sidewalks. Uh, People from DOTI are just asserting, we think it's the same. We think it's the same. That's not good enough. If you've worked with the community for years, as they have in this example, and come up with an agreement that we're going to make these changes because we want the safety impacts, and then you radically modify the design and just say we think it'll be as safe, that's not good enough. But beyond that, we are not pretending that we can require the city to hire outside folks, etc.
Okay, but it's a national net. There's a nationally recognized methodology, so there's standards and practices that they would have to follow.
That's my understanding, and this motion was developed in conjunction with people who know more about the engineering than I do.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jane, I know you have questions in the chat, so but you got your hand raised, so if you want to just ask them yourself.
Yes. Joel, first of all, thank you. I'd like a copy of this slide. Do you think the Alameda thing is because of future BRT plans? With Dr. Cog doing that and they're colliding somehow with DOTI?
On that specific project, that is not one of the reasons that DOTI is given for changing the design. No.
Oh, okay.
They've said, it's actually kind of funny. And again, I'm keeping my INC hat on here, right? They had a good process several years ago for involving the community for a long period of time to come up with the recommended design. And then when they changed it, their reasoning was just, well, we never stopped listening to community. We got some more feedback. You can read about this in the press. There's some interesting angles to it. So it wasn't tied to here is a mechanical reason why this is going to be more compatible with some other plan, etc. It was just we got some feedback from folks and we changed it. We think it'll be fine. That's not always the case. And again, I don't want to make this all about Alameda. The West Colfax one was, I watched the Zoom meeting. They said, yeah, we're issuing notice to proceed. We're going to build the changes, but they're going to be very different changes. We're removing the very important center element, and we're just going to go do this. And when asked why, they just said, well, the other one costs too much. So it's not always the same reason, but it seems to have this pattern where community engagement is done, but then radical changes are made and safety affecting changes are made without re-engaging the community. And that's just squandering all the benefits of authentic community engagement.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel. And I just want to echo, I think a lot of folks' sentiment that this is, you all have done such a good job with this. And this is exactly kind of, I know our, bylaws have kind of changed how INC takes positions, but I think this is really walking that line well in terms of kind of a forward-thinking approach to this and kind of a more all-encompassing approach to INC speaking on behalf of, all the neighborhoods across the city. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, delegates. Please watch for this in your email because we'll be having voting next month, and you'll get the details, including, of course, a copy of this text. Back to you, Keith.
Thanks. Can you go back, Kelsey, to the last slide? And then I'll turn this over to Joel Cox and then Jack and Ryan.
Everyone, this is Joel. I'm an at-large board member as well as the chair of the Zoning and Planning Committee, as well as a delegate from the University Park Community Council. For the ZAP committee, that's just every other month, the fourth Tuesday of every even number month. So that's February, April, June, etc. We, of course, have ongoing conversations around important land use related issues that are specific to the city. We are back for 2026. Our first meeting of the year is on the calendar. It's going to be February 24th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. virtual only. If you aren't on our Zap email list, you can sign up for that on our site, or you can just email me directly or the zoning and planning email. If you want to write it down, it's zoningplanning@denverinc.org. Zoningplanning@denverinc.org. Just say, hey, I want to sign up, and I'll send you the link to get on that email list. So our meeting is coming up February 24th, 6:30 to 8 p.m., virtual only. We have some really important topics that we're going to talk about. The first is this mini bundle that's passing through at a city level. We're looking at an overview of zoning and planning updates that include, updates to ADUs, development timelines, processes to improve state housing policies. So it's going to affect a lot of different things. And we have two city planners coming to present and go through all of the specifics. So if you have any questions, these are the people that can answer them. Then we also have a speaker who's going to be talking about unlocking housing choices. As many of us know, our city's having some really serious conversations around exploring middle housing, which is think of in between a single family zoning and in between high rises. So duplexes, triplexes above. Should we upzone the city? Should we upzone parts of the city? What would that look like? So we have someone just to talk about where the city stands, the pros or cons, any concerns that are related to upzoning and to middle housing. We do have an expert coming. He doesn't work for the city, but he works for a very engaged nonprofit, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you guys have. So yeah, that is all on the 24th. Please mark your calendars. It's going to be a really, I think, just consequential meeting and one that if you guys have any questions, that's the place to be. Quickly moving on to an exciting update. We do have two new co-chairs. I'll just quickly go over each of them, and then I can turn it over to either of them if they want to expand on their background. But the first is Ryan Keeney. He's a community leader here in Denver. He's the former president of YIMBY, which stands for Yes in My Backyard. He's on that board, but is looking to expand into other areas of leadership. He's also in an affordable housing executive certificate program with myself at the University of Denver. And I've seen firsthand that he can just think really creatively when it comes to housing solutions here in the state of Colorado. Then we also have Jack Hermanson. He is someone who is strongly devoted to strengthening the social fabric within his immediate community. He does this largely in his capacity as an RNO board member for Alamo Placita. He's updated their bylaws. He's a computer programmer and has helped them create a website. He's been successful in advocating for things like crosswalks. He even takes shifts maintaining his neighborhood chicken coop. So he is quite literally a jack of all trades, can do a lot of different things, and we are really excited to have both of them. And with that, Ryan, if you want to give a quick introduction, and then we can turn the mic over to Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Joel. So I'm a 10-year resident of the city. Moved here over for grad school at University of Denver for a degree in geographic information science. I'm currently employed as a transportation planner at a consulting firm specializing in public transit. And then in my civic life, I've been on the CHUN board, Capitol Hill United Neighborhoods, since 2019, where I currently serve as the Urban Planning Committee Chair. And I'm also the co-founder, as Joel said, and until recently, the president of YIMBY Denver, Yes in My Backyard, an organization that advocates for changes in land use policy to make Denver a truly welcoming city. I'm very excited to lean in with Interneighborhood Cooperation Council on the Zoning and Planning Committee so that we can empower our residents and policymakers to help plan the human habitat that is our city and county of Denver. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And Jack, if you want to give a quick overview of your background.
Yep, thanks. Happy to be here. So I'm Jack. I've been an officer on the RNO board for Alamo Placida for almost 3 years now, and where I kind of find myself being most helpful is with administrative tasks. So I've handled our MailChimp, our website, our bylaws, and of course advocating for things like crosswalks, interfacing with developers who would like to change the zoning in our kind of main street area over here on 6th Avenue. I think there's a lot of areas for improvement in understanding the differences between different types of zones and the fears that people have when they hear of a zoning proposal change. I just want to help make sure everybody knows what's going on and increase understanding and help INC play a better role in that. So looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, guys. So clearly we have a lot of talent between these two co-chairs. I will be staying on myself as another co-chair. And so I think between the three of us, the sky's the limit in terms of what to expect from the Zoning and Planning Committee. It's been a long time since we've had more than one co-chair. And so I think we're really going to hit our stride when it comes to just strength and the presentations that we have. This is probably the most active Zoning and Planning Committee in the city, if not the state. It's probably also the oldest. And so there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about what we can nurture here when it comes to just raising awareness around all of the important issues when it comes to planning the future of our city. So yeah, really optimistic of what's to come. Each of you can be a part of that as well, whether it be through recommending different topics that we bring up at the ZAP committees, attending, asking questions, emailing me if you want to get more involved. And specifically, as we update our position statements, that's another area of opportunity. So everything that Joel Noble just went through when it comes to the Transportation Committee, that also applies to zoning and planning. And now that we have all the co-chairs in place, we are moving forward with those efforts. And so if you're interested in playing a part in making those updates, please email that email that I shared earlier. It's zoningplanning@denverinc.org, or direct message me in this Zoom, and we'll make sure that you're involved with those efforts. So that's everything from the ZAP standpoint. Please make sure to put on your calendars just to attend the February 24th meeting. Look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, guys. Excited to have you guys on board, and always excited that new things are happening with ZAP committee. Gertie, very quick question. What's going on? What's up?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that ZAP will include excise and license, which is now the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, because the changes that have been going on in terms of what RNOs are, how our participation in the licensing of alcohol serving establishments in our neighborhood seems to be a really moving target. We get an email one day saying GNAs will be allowed at any time, and then 3 days later we get a notice saying that the time to get your GNA in has passed, and we don't have any notice of it. And I know that things have changed at excise now, consumer licensing and consumer protection, please, have changed significantly. And I really, really, really seriously would appreciate an update to all RNOs from that department about how RNOs can meaningfully participate in how liquor licensed establishments and marijuana licensed establishments are operating in their neighborhoods. Thank you very much. And congratulations on getting such a good group together, Joel.
Of course, yeah, we couldn't have hoped for, I mean, any more than what we've gotten. Really excited for both of them, and also that's a great suggestion. We do have a running list of potential topics when it comes to our June, February, March, or April meeting, and so that we can include, updates when it comes to that department. So thank you for that
Great.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gertie. And we do have some stuff for good neighbor agreements, GNAs, on the hopper for this year as well, in terms of trying to, get some more clarity on that. So thanks. Kelsey, could you go to slide like 22, the one that's after the letter? Perfect. So I did want to take a really
Sorry,
quick
Keith, I don't have slide numbers up.
Oh,
So
this is fine. This is it. Yep, this is it. So we talked about this last month briefly, but I'm excited. I think we have a couple of folks from the University of Denver online now tonight. And again, INC is excited that we have started this collaboration with the University of Denver's Center for Community Engagement, and also with the Scribner Institute, which is the kind of public policy institute at DU. We had 3 interns last fall, and we've upped that to 6 interns this spring that are getting started on some pretty awesome projects that we're really excited through INC, both some law students and undergrads, and really trying to work to get this kind of up and running, and really trying to kind of create a pipeline, I think, from the university into civic engagement and civic projects and neighborhoods, and the efforts that neighborhoods are doing around the city. So we're really excited about that. Are there some folks online from DU? I saw Caitlin and maybe Hobie. Hi, Hobie. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Hobie Malik. I am in my 3rd year at University of Denver, Stern College of Law. I got to start working with Keith in the fall last year. I got to work on the community benefits agreement for the new Denver women's soccer team stadium, which was just a really cool experience. I'm a huge soccer fan myself, so I'm excited for the stadium. But I also, to ensure that the stadium is done right and doesn't kind of bulldoze local communities, is something that was kind of hit home for me. I am originally from Atlanta, and the neighborhood that I grew up in was planned to be bulldozed by the state to build a new highway. And a lot of the kind of senior members in my neighborhood came together and saved the neighborhood. So it's really cool to see that like civic engagement like this really does have a powerful impact on the community. And it's great to see all of you on here that are still engaging in the community. And I'm just really happy to be a part of it.
Also, congrats on being almost done with law school, by the way.
Thank you. I can't wait.
I know the pain you're about ready to experience.
Yeah.
And I think I saw, thanks, Hobie. I think I saw Caitlin.
Yep, I'm here. All right.
All right.
Hi,
You want to
everyone.
introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin. I'm a junior. I'm an undergrad at DU, majoring in international studies and public policy. I joined the team about 6 weeks ago in early January. And it's been fantastic so far. I've been working on the Instagram side of things and trying to promote the Weaver Awards that Denver INC recently got. So that's been super exciting. And we're hoping to get a post out maybe this or next week. So looking forward to that. I'm originally from Maryland, so Kensington, very small town, and it was wonderful, and I've loved living in Denver ever since. So I'm excited to be a part of this, and it's really cool. It's been great to hear about the different aspects of Denver ISD that you guys have all been presenting. So happy to be here.
And I'll just say, Caitlin, I don't know if you want to touch on this real quick too. One thing that Caitlin and I have talked about is her doing some interviews of a lot of you, I think. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the social media project is a lot bigger than social media. We want to identify people that count as weavers in the community. So this is people that are engaging in community participation, that are working on projects that will benefit the communities. And my goal is to reach out to people and learn about either projects they're currently doing or previously done or plan to do, and learn about how they are able to act as weavers in this sense. And then we're hoping to get that out to a wider audience through social media by putting some clips of those interviews online, and then maybe also writing some longer articles about more in depth what that's going on. So happy to talk with anyone who's interested in talking with me and figuring out how this whole weaving thing is working.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Caitlin. And I think maybe I saw Logan on here.
Yeah, I'm on here. Hi, everyone. I'm Logan. I'm a sophomore here at DU. I'm a public policy major from the Massachusetts area originally, but I came out here to Colorado. I'm working closely with Caitlin on some of that social media stuff. We're trying to change the Instagram and sort of maybe get a younger audience on side and a little more engaged with some community projects here at Denver INC, along with the Weaver Award stuff. And we're looking for opportunities to maybe get some interviews out there and even articles. So if anyone wants to reach out at any time, you're more than welcome to. So we're hoping to get some posts out pretty soon. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Is there anybody else from DU on here? No, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Great. Well, as we said, this is a kind of an ongoing program that we're building up and kind of piece by piece here. So I think that this is just the next stage of this, is kind of introducing everybody and their projects. And then also, if folks, from our membership, that are on here, or INC board or anything, is actively working to kind of create a list of projects and a list of things that we think can be addressed, and hopefully we getting some interns and students working with our committees on some of the policy work, as well as figuring out ways to interact more through like city meetings, budgeting meetings, and really providing that as well. So we're very excited, and I just wanted to do this quick intro, and then we'll do a lot more of these. Kelsey?
I would just encourage all of Hobie and Caitlin and Logan that you go to the city's website and find your local RNO and attend one of their meetings, and really see the work that's happening in your neighborhood. Specifically, you may all live in the same neighborhood, you may live all across the city, which is even better. But to see INC's work is really great, but it's also just as important to see the people working, as your neighbors and the work that they're doing. So that's just a quick plug for your local RNO.
Yeah, and it could be Joel Cox's RNO.
Yeah, it could be. Probably is.
So please reach out to Joel, because I think if you're living around the university. So cool. Well, thanks. And there will be more about this at a lot of meetings in the future. So if Kelsey, if you want to move to the next slide. Awesome. Well, we've sent an email out about this, I believe, or a couple of them, that one of the things that's happened pretty recently over the last few months is that INC and DU together submitted a grant application with the Aspen Institute for what's called their Weave program, and the Weave Awards. And to give out micro grants basically to different community members that are doing what's called weaving. And I'm probably not the best person to explain this, but I will. I don't know if Kelsey, if you can start the video. We have just a short video from David Brooks, who's the founder of the Weave program, and Fred Riley, who's the executive director of the Weave program at the Aspen Institute. Ooh, I don't hear any sound.
Rude. And that was the pairing of our social fabric.
When you share, you have to click a
run
little
across-
box in the bottom for sound.
Can people hear sound now? I can.
No.
Thumbs up. I can hear the sound. So yeah.
It was
All
a
right.
little weird, but yeah.
Do you want to try it again, Kelsey?
Sure. Sorry, my having one mouse pad forward
get
clear
it.
to start. Okay. Try this
Here we
again.
Well, my full-time job is I'm a newspaper columnist, and so I write about America's problems. And a lot of the problems I was covering all had one root, and that was the pairing of our social fabric. You run across these statistics, 54% of Americans say no one knows them well. The number of people who say they have no close friends has quadrupled. You see rising opioid addictions, all these rising social problems.
Our nation right now is being faced with what I would call the silent crisis. And it's the crisis of trust.
But there are people, which we call weavers, who are out there rebuilding trust, rebuilding communities.
Weave origins happened by David Brooks. David was invited to a Thursday night dinner at a family, and he saw how this family was showing up for the young people around the table.
I walk in the room, and there's 40 people around the table, mostly high school age, a bunch of mattresses for the kids who were staying over. And we formed this little forged family for the next 5 years. So I ate with them every Thursday night. We took vacations together. That was my experience of weaving. Well, I didn't even know what a weaver was, but I was in the middle of a couple of them.
And he goes, there has to be something to that. Like, are there other people who are doing this?
And so the purpose of Weave was like, what can we do to help these people out? What can we do to get more people to be weavers? But the Aspen Institute is about convening people. And so I said, you bring people together, and we're in a crisis of togetherness. So this should be your mission.
We call them weavers because if you think about the idea of weaving something together, and so what our weavers are doing is knitting together, weaving together their communities around the country.
It's easiest to when you see it. In Watts, there was a woman named Keisha Daniels who runs something called Sisters of Watts. Just a bunch of moms who, when a kid needs some food to take home, they give them a backpack full of food.
One of the weavers that we found really inspiring is Megan Helberg from Taylor, Nebraska. She's one of the educators who left to go get a college degree in a big city, but decided to come back home because she felt this inkling to come back and help make the place she grew up better.
One of the things that I find true of educators is this skill of seeing others and being deeply seen, something teachers are just good at.
What qualifies a weaver educators are people who go beyond what the normal day job is.
I have a friend who says teaching is a community of truth. We're in the classroom together and we're trying to find the truth together. It's not me lecturing at you. It's we're discovering together. Turning a classroom into a community is what teachers are all about.
Another inspiring weaver educator is Heidi Maxey in Hawaii. Heidi saw that the students at her school had a myriad of issues, and through an angel fund, started picking up all these projects to help support the needs. So if you go to our high school, you'll see clothing, you'll see a place for young people to decompress. You'll see all these different projects, all meeting the needs of her community, which is the school.
Our theory is that culture changes when a small group of people find a better way to live and the rest of us copy. And so if you read about a story about a weaver or see a video about a weaver, you think, wow, that's an amazing person. I may be not that amazing, but I can be a little more amazing. And then the second thing Weave tries to do is we give them resources. We have these things called Weaver Awards.
We launched a project in Baltimore last year to give funding, micro grants to local weavers so that they can do their work without a lot of the hassle.
And they're not large grants, but enough to make a difference in a small organization. And then a lot of weavers, a lot of people are really building community. They're exhausted. There's so many community needs are thrust in their lap. They often don't have anybody to talk to. Nobody's trained them to do this work. And so by bringing weavers together with each other, then they can educate each other. They can say, this is what I do, what do you do? And so it's mutual support. There's a woman named Sarah Heminger who runs an organization called Thread in Baltimore, which is sort of a community organization surrounding teenagers in Baltimore. And she leapt into action and started this food bank and this food distribution network. I talked to her, this was early COVID, and she said, I was born for this. I look at the young generation, the group that was most enthusiastic about Weave, as we would present it, was high school students. And they're at a point in their life where they want to contribute. They're filled with moral passion, and they get the crisis of connection firsthand. There's a lot of loneliness and rivalry in high school. Incredibly hope-giving.
I took on this role 2 years ago at the top of the pandemic. But as our work persisted, I started hearing the stories of people who are really figuring out how to show up for people. And I think in a way has reminded me of the responsibility I have to show up for people, and not just where I work, but also what I do after work as well.
Those of us in journalism, we think our job is to explain how bad everything is and not focus on the people who are fixing it. But what gives me hope is the fact that those people are just sprinkled throughout society of all different types and shapes and colors and creeds, and they're out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelsey. Can you go to the next slide? One more, I guess. Perfect. Thanks. So, I'll just, we were notified fairly quickly. We applied in the fall and were notified fairly quickly in late fall that we had been nominated as one of 25 initial cohorts of receiving a Weave, becoming a Weave community host. And so we went to a training for that. Judy and I just went to a training for that. Judy, I don't know if you have anything you want to share. Judy got to meet her, one of her big heroes.
Okay, yeah. Got to meet David Brooks. I have a little girl crush on David Brooks, just saying. And Kara from DU, our partner at DU, the three of us were there, and it was inspiring. Is the caliber of people that we were with, and the company that we're keeping, and the honor that it is to have been selected as one of these 25 community hosts in this first cohort. They're ramping this up. This is the scale up of the pilot program. So it's exciting, and we've got fun and great things to do with this support. So stay tuned.
Kelsey, could you go to the next slide? So like I said, we are one of 25 community cohorts across the country we are 25 community hosts, and we're all part of a cohort across the country. And what we've basically gotten is 2 years worth of funding to start giving out micro grants of at least $50,000 worth of micro grants to 20 different weavers in Denver. And we have 2 years of funding for this, basically. And so, and then, the idea is that, we are going to, seek out funding beyond the Aspen Institute's initial grant within our community to keep these awards going. And it's really exciting. I think we're all really just thrilled to be part of this project. And, this is something that we're going to be building up with INC and the University of Denver over the next several months. We need to put an advisory council together who are going to, look at potential awardees, and then, come up with a list of grantees and what kinds of things we're going to be granting. And so I think one of the things, there's a couple things I think that really stood out because we were very different from a lot of the different community hosts. And one of them is our relationship with the University of Denver. I think that this is a really exciting relationship. And the other thing is that we've been doing something similar to this for about 48 years through our neighborhood awards program and our youth awards program. Jane Potts, I know, was on. I hope you're still on, but we were able to show that INC has already been doing these kinds of things, and I think that was a really big thing for the Aspen Institute to say, hey, we're going to support this for bigger initiatives that you want to do. So I think that's really a great thing to all the people that have come before us in INC that have really started this kind of recognition of neighborhoods and neighborhoods doing things together, and also youth as well. So I don't know if you can go to the next slide, Kelsey. We're going to kind of run through these quick, but really the whole idea around this is, there's really a loss of trust between people, and there's a epidemic of loneliness across the country, and we're really trying to address those issues through these Weave Awards, and really recognizing folks that are doing amazing weaving things around the city. And we're going to come up with examples so everybody knows over the next few months what would qualify for an award, and how we can encourage folks that are already doing this to continue to do it, and then come up with new ideas as well, but really connecting community. So with that, I kind of want to let's see here. Yeah, I think we will release this slide, or we'll put this slide deck with the video for today, and I think all of you can kind of read through that, learn a little bit more about what is weaving, what INC has done in the past, and what we kind of focus on through these weaving awards, I think, as well. Judy, do you have anything else you want to add? Okay, great. And I think we're going to keep introducing this stuff about weaving, both in the newsletter and in the kind of monthly connections, and then some of our bigger events as well. We are also working to get there's a Weave Speakers Bureau where you can get folks from that come and speak about Weave and the Weave program to come and speak. So we're working on that kind of stuff as well. So we're really trying to make this a big thing in Denver, and we're working with the university to kind of come up with some communications platforms to do that on. And we have all these great students that are going to be working on this stuff too. So we're just really excited about kind of the nexus of all of this coming together over the next couple of years for this. And it's a 4-year program. So we're really hoping to kind of build this and hoping that all of you will join us, I think, in doing that, because this is really going to be a community effort to kind of put this together. And with that, I will turn.
Okay. Yeah, it's very exciting. Time to stay tuned for a lot more information about the Weave Award and that process. I know we're just past 8:30. It's at the end, and we've lost a fair number of people. We do have the elections coming up March 14th. That will be a hybrid, and so both an in-person meeting, as I was saying at the top of the program, in person at the Mulkery, the Montclair Civic Building at Montclair Park, with a virtual hybrid option. And so the elections, we have, we have 2 officer positions and 3 at-large positions. And we are interviewing and talking to people who are interested in the last 2 weeks. Tonight is the last time that we can take nominations from the floor. That doesn't mean that anybody who is potentially interested, who wants to get in touch with us after this, after tonight, that's still open. But this is the last opportunity, according to the bylaws, to take any nominations from the floor. And before